Now, cracking story, this is going to get you this one. History lecturers at the University of Liverpool have been advised to problematise whiteness and heterosexuality in their seminars. The advice has been given in guidance on how to diversify, that word, and decolonise the history curriculum, sent this week to academics at Liverpool. But last night, critics lambasted its recommendation as ideologically driven and divisive. OK, brace yourself. This one's going to get heated. Claire, they are saying that you should be guilty if you're white and heterosexual. Not using the long words they use, but that's kind of what they're saying.
Yeah, but do you know what? History in this country is concerned with more and has been lived by more white people and more heterosexuals, right? And that's the history. I'll tell you something else, Dawn. This is Russell Group University material here. This is Liverpool. It's a really good university. The thing that really got me going apart from this, and I thought it was an AI generation of words input into a system to come up with from something. It's ridiculous. The main issue I have is the verb problematise. I've never heard of that before. So they should be prioritising grammar. Let's get first principles back in there firstly. It's shocking. £9,250,000 kids pay to get up with this absolute rubbish.
I had to read that out, so feel for me. Go on.
OK. I translate the word. Right, the word does sound concerning. The word it's misleading, OK? Because actually, I can't even say it, problematizing.
Exactly, you can't say it anymore.
All it is, we can all calm down, because it's just promoting anti-racism.
It's not, Amy.
It is, wait. It's just bringing the marginalised voices into the discussion. So,
no, what they're saying is look at British history through the optic of...
all perspectives. So let's look at it from the perspective of a queer person growing up. Let's look at it from the perspective of somebody from...
Well, that's not the majority.
...colonies.
No, look, Windrush, definitely. It should be taught as modern history and the absolute disgusting things that happened to the Windrush generation. But that's got nothing at all to do with this statement from academics in Liverpool urging their tutors, urging their lecturers to problematise whiteness and heterosexuality.
I can totally understand that it sounds scary, because it sounded scary to me. I thought, how am I going to handle this? But then when I actually looked at the evidence, it's all about unpacking bias. And you have to admit there has been a white bias in history.
No, there hasn't, because the facts...
From a white perspective...
Amy, the facts are, in history, most people in this country are white and heterosexual.
Of course, but then there's still...
So that's the history.
...voices that deserve to be brought into the discussion as much as the dominant voices.
Look, I get it from an academic perspective. I get it from an academic perspective that we can have revolutionary historical seminars. We can have feminist historical seminars. Look at Judith Butler and all the rubbish she can spout and gets away with. And I'm not surprised that you do. I don't. I'm not surprised that I don't either.
You know, she's a voice in the conversation.
Yes.
All perspectives that make us easier to draw our own conclusions. If we don't see every...
But it doesn't, because honestly, the tertiary education system in this country it's got such a left-wing bias. It's unbelievable. And children, young students are frightened. They're frightened, Amy, to sort out their own opinions in academic seminars that are supposed to be with 6 kids or 10 kids in a room, battling out, teasing out, and they're not doing it.
I think it's about taking into account those voices that you spoke of, but the marginalised voices, so that everybody can have a say and everybody can have a role in the history and the story, because everybody was there. It's a bit like in New Zealand. They didn't used to teach the Maori history within the history of New Zealand, and then they also started teaching it from a Maori perspective. That's decolonising the education. That's decolonising the curriculum. It's not as scary as it sounds, is all I'm saying.
The criticism from other academics, not me, of this is that it is more divisive than it's setting out to get rid of the divisiveness.
Certainly the
and patronising
sound divisive. I can totally see that. But when you actually unpack what it is, and it's challenging biases, it's challenging norms, it's admitting that yes, there has been a heterosexual emphasis.
Because that's fact. But it's not emphasis, it's because the majority of people historically in this country were white and were heterosexual. That's the end of. Are we going to go back to the tutors where they persecuted the Catholics? Come on.
But you were talking about proportional representation in the last segment. This is basically basically historical proportional representation. Everybody has to say.
It's not. I think everyone does have a say. I think everyone does have a say, and I think everyone can have a slice of the pie, because a lot of, in terms of gay people's sex back in the 80s of AIDS, that was an absolutely appalling time that they went through, the homosexual population and lesbian population. And it's just historically factual now to move on from that. That is a part of history. It was predominantly white homosexual men that got AIDS and died from AIDS proportionally in this country. That's fact. That's historic fact.
About that history.
We have heard about it.
Through the lens of a minority, through the lens of a gay man, from a bisexual man, from a black man. Like, that's all decolonising the curriculum is hearing all sides of the argument.
I think,
which surely we at GB News love. We celebrate that. That's what we do.
We do, but we're not telling anybody it's bad to be white or it's bad to be...
Exactly.
That is not what...
Amy, it is. It is.
Any case, yes, the lectures are also meant to be held in safe spaces because
of course they are.
Can be triggering, as we've just discovered. Any case, a University of Liverpool spokesman said, "We are absolutely committed to an inclusive experience for all our students, reviewing our curricula to ensure content is reflective of cultural, historical and social context is an important part of this commitment." Following recent fruitful and positive conversations with our history department about decolonising the curriculum, a 2020 audit was circulated to colleagues to prompt further thought and discussion.